Death is coming, I'ma greet
So
him
live
with
it up, nigga, we gon' live it up. So can't get enough, ain't no bottom to my cup, no. Let's split it up, you know how I like my blunts, bro. If I'ma go tonight, then I'ma do it right. So live it up, nigga, we gon' live it up. So can't get enough, ain't no bottom to my cup, no. Let's split it up, you know how I like my blunts, bro. If I'ma go tonight, then I'ma do it right, yeah.
I woke up and the city was on fire. You could see the pandemonium for miles. I've been living with this feeling for a while. If death is coming, I'ma greet him with us. I've been living like push the pedal to the metal till I see the flag blowing chunks out the ozone while I burn the gas crackers on my ass. Think I'm finna crash. I ain't worried till I hit the curb. Vision blurs, learn every word. Coupe in is filled with different flavors. They just wanna live something I could give life in the 16. Painting pictures like the 16. Even now I'm on my back staring at the ceiling wondering what this shit mean. I don't wanna this my whole life. Now I'm here feeling so right. Getting faded in the strobe lights. Nigga, I could do this all night. Show me life, show me love, show me something real, show me something brand new. Take your time, ain't no rush. I just wanna feel everything you've been through. We ain't leaving till they shut it down. So take advantage when it come around. Doing damage every time we out. They gon' remember me without a doubt.
Up, nigga, we gon' live it up. So can't get enough, ain't no bottom to my cup, no. Let's split it up, you know how I like my blunts, bro. If I'ma go tonight, then I'ma do it right. So live it up, nigga, we gon' live it up. So can't get enough, ain't no bottom to my cup, no. Let's split it up, you know how I like my blunts, bro. If I'ma go tonight, then I'ma do it right, yeah.
I woke up and the city was on fire. You could see the pandemonium for miles. I've been living with this feeling for a while. If death is coming, I'ma greet him with us. Everyone dies, but have you been living? Take full advantage of what you've been given. You woke up, you winning. If that ain't enough, fuck up a check and go live it up. Me and my niggas, we pull up and not ready or not. Before you know it, I'm feeling the vibe. Hard to ignore it, I can't even try, and that be a lie. Look, I seen a lot, but it's all over. Once you were left, I just crossed over. Cup full of Henny without soda. Remedy anything life throw you. On D&D for the night, so gold. Leave me a message when that toll roll. I hate you back when I get focused. Right now I'm on it and buy loaded. Look, the city is live and I'm trying to ride the wave. So let me get by, I'm here for a night, then I got a flight to take. But when I return, the city gon' burn, cause I'm bringing all the flame. My nigga, it's all a game. My nigga, it's all
So
a
live
game.
it up, nigga, we gon' live it up. So can't get enough, ain't no bottom to my cup, no. Let's split it up, you know how I like my blunts, bro. If I'ma go tonight, then I'ma do it right. So live it up, nigga, we gon' live it up. So can't get enough, ain't no bottom to my cup, no. Let's split it up, you know how I like my blunts, bro. If I'ma go tonight, then I'ma do it right, yeah.
I woke up and the city was on fire. You could see the pandemonium for miles.
Welcome everyone to Wednesday Hump Day. It is
Hump Day?
It is the Arctic tundra down here in Florida for some reason today. It is extremely cold. It's not even 60 degrees. The world is upside down. The banking institutions are flipping, and NFL free agency is going absolutely nuts. Welcome, everybody, to another show of The Uninformed Fan. I am your host, as always, TRL Business Time Tyson. And with me, as always, my good buddy, who we can't hear clapping, but he looks like he's clapping and cheering, Jeffrey off of the Schneid. How we doing today on Hump Day, Jeffrey?
Hey, Mike. What day is it? We're doing well, man. Doing really good. Fired up. Off for a few days. Kids, wife come home on Friday. I'm excited. It's been a long 10 days without him. I'm not going to lie. Thought it was going to be glorious. I'd be walking around the house butt naked, you know?
And then the dog started barking at you.
And then I can't even sit down and use the toilet without two dogs staring at me the entire time. They're literally scratching on the door right now, trying to break down the door.
Let him in.
It's a lot. I'm absolutely not letting him in.
Let him in.
It's just a lot going on right now, and I'm ready for my family to be back home. How about you?
I'm ready to be pampered again.
Yes, this is terrible. I have to walk these dogs. I have all these things to do. I don't want responsibility.
It's going good. It's going good. You know, I had a little dermatologist appointment, follow up, no cancer. That's always a good one. You know, someone as fair skinned as myself. I mean, obviously bronzes eventually. You know, to be in Florida and not have that. However, I did have quite the incident coming home, driving down the 429. So I get up on the 420. No, but very close. But very close.
Yeah,
No, yeah, it's gonna be a good one. So I get on the highway, and out of nowhere, on the next turn up to merge on, this huge dump truck gets in front of me. And I immediately catch the waft of what this dump truck is. And it is full of shit. Literally full of cow, whatever shit is in there, to the point where I am gagging. It is so bad. Not only is it bad, I'm on the phone with my parents at the same time, and they're like, what's going on? I'm like, there's shit on the mud flaps. There's shit on the back of the actual truck that is flying off the highway and hitting the windshield, hitting the front, sticking to it. So I continued to smell the waft. Now, the waft was so bad that this is with windows up. It was windows up. It was so bad. I had to roll the windows down just to try to get out of the slipstream of this shit truck. He was going 80 miles an hour. Couldn't get around him. I ended up doing some fucking Max Verstappen type moves to get through this and get around him. And I just look up at him, and this dude just like...
Yeah. He's literally shitting on everyone.
He is literally shitting on everyone.
Drives down the interstate. That's terrible, dude.
Dude, like, it was bad.
You have a white truck.
Well,
tell me you had the Avalanche.
I had the Avalanche. I had Old Faithful. So
oh god, that beautiful Ford, American made.
Yeah,
oh,
right.
Boy.
That was the silver lining. So they definitely shit on this Chevy, and old Betsy wasn't having it. You know, she was itching to get around that truck.
How are they allowed to do that though?
Well, they have to get it.
Shit everywhere.
They have to get from point A to point B somehow. You know, growing up in the Midwest, it was a little bit more prevalent. But I've never been behind a truck like that literally has shit flying off of it going down the highway. It was quite the experience.
You know, I always say this, and it's funny because especially our generation, right? Final Destination has ruined things for us, where like we get into situations now and we see something and we're immediately thinking the worst, right? Like you can't drive behind anybody who's got like
the logger truck,
lumber or loggers, or like the wrought iron poles or whatever. Like you immediately go with the worst case scenario, and it's all because of Final Destination, right? And I feel like this is one of those Final Destination things of like, what would be the worst way to go out? You know what I mean? The absolute worst way is that a pile of shit blinds you, right, as you're driving down the interstate, and you can't breathe from the fumes that are going through, and you somehow swerve off and die. Like I feel like that you're making me anxious right now.
It was extremely bad. It was tough to breathe. I was channeling my inner Biff Tannen to not slide into the side of it and have shit cover my car. But it was quite the experience. I highly recommend everyone else trying it if you can, because it was really, really, really eye-opening. And, my eyes...
Yeah, kudos to you for being Max Verstappen or, Lewis Hamilton out there, and not being, Magnussen or Nico Hulkenberg, because
Lewis Hamilton would have just stayed behind it and accept his position, you know what I'm saying? He's like, this sucks, but I'm in a good little area. I'm just going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here. Let's get into it. So the NFL official season starts at 4 p.m. today. However,
it's gonna be fun.
Monday was obviously just balls to the walls crazy. Tuesday was even crazier. Actually, Monday was the craziest day. Tuesday was interesting. There was a lot of interesting moves that happened around in the NFL. Let's dive into it. We're going to start with our fan favorite two teams, the Bears and the Bucks. And the Bears signed TJ Edwards off the Titans, I believe. We got Tremaine Edmonds from the Buffalo Bills. And then we just signed Travis Homer as a running back.
We don't really need to talk about Travis Homer.
We really don't. The interesting one to me was the Tremaine Edmonds signing. Now, I believe it was 4 years, $72 million, about like $18 million. It was only $2 million off the Roquan Smith deal, which apparently seemed like it was too much. Now, a lot of the insiders have said, well, they really, really like what Poles did there because they let Roquan Smith go. They got a younger linebacker, and they got a second-round pick out of it, which I believe they ended up giving away to the Steelers anyway for Chase Claypool. But to me, it was just like, again, same thing with David Montgomery, who also signed with the Detroit Lions, which is something that I absolutely hate, which we're going to get into that in a second. But you let a proven guy go that's been with the Bears his entire career. You let him go to the Ravens, and then you sign somebody else that, obviously I don't have a whole lot of film on him, but what I've seen recently is just that he has flashes of games, right? He has games where he looks like the superstar, like the best linebacker, and then he has games where he's absolutely non-existent. With Roquan, it seemed to be like he was at least there every game. I don't really understand this signing, but, if polls have showed us anything so far, is that the guy knows what he is doing. So I don't know about this one.
I love it. I think Tremaine Edmonds is a guy who maybe has gotten lost sometimes in that Buffalo defense, but has always performed at a very high level. He's a sideline to sideline guy, extremely quick, can drop back in coverage, has great hands, has a nose for the football. I think he'll fit in perfectly in Chicago. He's a cold weather player. That's the way that his game is molded as well. I think it's a great signing for you. I love the T.J. Edwards signing as well too. I think the ability to get that linebacking room established and doing it with veterans who know how to play and know how to play in the system that they're going to be in, I think is a huge step for them as well too. And now, like we said before, you can kind of just build through the draft. Now you have multiple rooms that are solidified already, right? Whether it's you're talking about, linebacking room, you're talking about your quarterback, your wide receivers. We got to shore up the secondary. We still need to address that for the Bears. That was a huge issue last year.
I love how you say we. You're coming around. You're coming around. You said we. You said we.
The Bears need to address the secondary. They need to address their line on both sides, offensive and defensive. But it kind of gives us a thing to be able to focus on here in the draft and be able to target and just attack those areas. I love what they're doing.
They're definitely doing some great pieces, and it's not that I don't, like I said, I don't enjoy the signing or I like the signing. It was just very weird that we're only $2 million off here, and you have somebody that's already proven on your team, but yet you go after this guy. To me, it's almost like he knew it, right? He knew when he traded Roquan that this piece was going to be available. Maybe that was his target. Maybe, like I said, if anything that's told us about Ryan Poles is he is playing chess while others are playing checkers, 100%. Yeah. And I don't think that they're done. And I don't think they're done on wide receiver. I still think that they're going after Orlando Brown. I think that price tag is going to be pretty high, but the fact that the Chiefs haven't signed him and nobody else has as well, we still have a shit ton of cap room. I believe that is a good signing, and then obviously we go to the draft for the rest of the line. I still don't think that they're done with the wide receiver position as well, which I'll talk in a second. But the running back position is very interesting to me because we did send David Montgomery to the Lions for a 3-year deal, which was $18 million. So we're talking about $6 million a year. To me, that one is it's very, very confusing to me because it's not necessarily a price tag or a cap issue that they didn't bring Montgomery back. But not only do you not bring him back, you let him sign to somebody in the division that you're going to play multiple times a year. And we all know what happens when players don't get whatever they want from the current team and then go to play against it. They play like a bat out of hell. They play with a huge chip on their shoulder, and you're going to have to face him twice a year, which I just don't like it. When we talked before, I always thought David Montgomery was going to be the best fit. Again, I like guys that have 10-year rapport with the current players. But the rumors are, obviously, we did sign Travis Horner, which is more of a special teams guy blocking, third down pass attack.
He's going to be a return guy for you.
Right. And the rumor on the streets is they're also pursuing Austin Eckler now that he has requested a trade. Now, to me, I don't know what that trade would require. I
also don't know how he fits your offense.
I just don't think it was good. But now, with that being said, I want to throw a little dark horse at you with the wide receivers. Okay? There's somebody out there that is testing the market that I think that should get another shot. And he's on the West Coast. You got any idea who I'm talking about?
Allen Robinson.
Bringing him back. Somebody that has the physical structure, the talent, but just never really got there, right? Because he was never really outside of Jacksonville, where he was a true number one. He never really fit that role anywhere else. He's got to be on a vet minimum at this point in order to continue. I say bring back Allen Robinson again. Put him in this offense. You got all of those players. You don't have to play him every single down. What a change of wide receiver groupings to have him come back. But I don't think that Poles is done. I don't know. I trust him. I actually trust this guy, which is, I don't think I've ever said that about anybody that works at the Bears front office. But good stuff there. I'm very curious to see who they continue to pursue, who they continue to go after in the draft. I know that Jeremy's not very big. I believe it's Paris, the guy from the Ohio State. No, Paris is from Northwestern. The Ohio State guy. I know our producer Jeremy is not very happy with him, as I see his little bubbles typing away right now to tell me what the hell is going on. It's very interesting to see what's going to happen from the rest of the way out. Oh, Paris is Ohio State, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really understand the Montgomery going to Detroit aspect for Detroit either, because they already have Williams, they already have Swift. They've had a pretty established running back room, I feel like, for a few years now. Now you're adding a guy to come in and I guess compete. I'd be curious to see the structure of that contract and see how much is actually guaranteed, and we'll probably find that out.
I think it was like $12 million
later today or whatever it is. That's guaranteed $12 million?
I believe so, yeah.
I don't know. David Montgomery has never really impressed me as a runner. I know he's very much impressed you because you would take him over Saquon Barkley. So there's that.
I feel like he's done the best with the situation. We talk about Justin Fields and the environment that he is in as far as being, pressured all the time and not having a good offensive line. If not having a good offensive line is affecting the quarterback, it's affecting the running back 10 times more because they're creating these holes and being able to get through. So, that's kind of what my take is on David Montgomery. When he hits the holes, we saw some great flash in the pans brilliance over him over the year, especially last year when he hit some gaping holes. I just feel like it wasn't necessary. I think it's the same thing as Justin Fields. The offensive line didn't necessarily create the holes needed for that man. Kind of the same thing as Lenny Fournette,
Anytime you can try to hit gaping holes, it's always a positive. In that sense, I will say I think $6 million is probably right there in the average, right? If you're talking about running backs that get tagged right now, franchise tag, it's only $10 million a year. So that's pretty much the high end of the market. Listen, $6 million, good for you. If I was the Bears, I wouldn't give them any more than that whatsoever.
I think that's about right. And then of course, Travis Homer was even less, obviously. But
Travis Homer, I hope you got for pennies on the dollar. I don't think Eckler fits your system. I would much rather see a guy like Derrick Henry get out there and just bust people up over and over again.
We both got to stop talking about Derrick Henry to the Bears, because every time you do it, I get a little tingling down there. I get some movement. It's just it's not good for my psyche. It's not good.
Moving on from the Bears, I do want to say I want to be corrected on something, and I want to apologize because I know everybody here comes for the insight and about how what's going to happen in free agency. And I said that there was zero shot. There was no shot whatsoever that the Bucs would be able to sign Jamel Dean to a contract. They had no cap space. They had nothing, right? No sign whatsoever. Jamel Dean got benched his very last game in Tampa Bay against the Cowboys when they were getting cooked in the secondary. Okay? There was no signs that pointed to Jamel Dean re-signing in Tampa Bay. And what's the first thing Tampa Bay does?
Well, I don't know about the first thing. They cut a few players, restructured, let Levante David go.
One of the first signings, first re-signings. I just saw as well, too, Anthony Nelson's returning on a 2-year deal. Breaking news here on the Uninformed Fan just came through the wire as well. So getting edge help for a guy who was really good last year as well is a great thing. I cannot believe the Bucs got Jamel Dean. I'm shocked. I thought
at a very, very friendly price, I might add.
A very team-friendly deal as well. We're very blessed. Just another sign that the salary cap really doesn't fucking exist. That's whatsoever.
If we get anything out of this between what the Bucs and the Saints have done, there's no salary cap.
Yes, if the Saints can go sign Derek Carr, there's no salary cap. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist.
It's all just funny money at this point.
It's insane, dude. But listen.
Well, the Bucs, the Bucs have made some interesting moves. Obviously we talked about all of the restructuring. It looks like Levante David's going to go somewhere else. They do have some holes to fill. Thank God, that we have not seen the Baker Mayfield signing yet. But, that just keeps pounding the rumor mill that, that's
You
the guy that they're
understand
going
why?
for.
I was talking about this yesterday, and I'm not sure if I got my point across exactly. I don't want Baker Mayfield because I want them to believe in Kyle Trask, and I think the best thing for Kyle Trask's psyche is to come in as the top guy. If you bring a guy in who has been in NFL locker rooms, who has had success in the NFL, who was a number 1 overall pick, you're no longer the alpha of the room. And I think for Kyle Trask's psyche, for them to instill confidence in Kyle Trask, listen, you draft a quarterback, that's fine. Kyle Trask can still be the alpha of that room. He can still be the leader. He can still go out there and get it done. I worry about his mental psyche if you bring a guy in like a Baker Mayfield. Like we've said before, bring in a Joe Flacco, somebody like that. Taylor Heineke would have been great. A guy who's going to come in, support, who's not going to, would obviously love the starting role, but is not going to like push, or be a locker room cancer. Baker,
who ended up going to the Falcons, by the way.
Who?
Heineke.
Yes, I saw that, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I will say this: if Kyle Trask isn't mentally tough, that dude's already broken, in my opinion. But we're very, very curious to see. The pens go to the paper at 4:00 this afternoon. Another big one is Aaron Rodgers, who still hasn't made up his hippie mind. He is still seeking insight or whatever. One of the funniest memes that I think I saw yesterday. You can just let that yawn out. That's just not the good look. The holdback, the holdback yawn is not a good look.
I'm trying, bro. We saw the same meme, I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, the fact that the Jets are pursuing Allen Lazard in free agency, and also Aaron Rodgers, also in Green Bay saying, I don't get the weapons, but then also going to the Jets and saying, give me the same weapons that I had in Green Bay, which, Allen Lazard is definitely a piece, but with, Garrett Wilson and those guys that over there, I think there's a few more weapons, but I don't know. At this point, I just think it just needs to happen. I don't understand. I don't know if they're waiting till this 4:00 thing to where they can actually put pen to paper before they release anything. If it's not a done deal, I don't know. From what I'm getting from inside Packers front office management, I have a couple guys over there. Is that they're ready to move on. Everyone's ready to move on. It's the Brett Favre scenario over again. It's just weird that it keeps happening to the Green Bay Packers. And to me, that just points to the front office. Like when you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre even, that you let go actually went to the Jets and then back to Minnesota to beat you in the division. Man, that would have been like Tom Brady leaving the Patriots in his prime. I don't see how as a front office you can't make that work. But again, I don't know what the diva status is of that locker room either.
Well, and look, let's not sleep on, your Jordan Love, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs next year, especially when it comes to fantasy purposes. These guys need to be on your radar.
Watson is a beast.
They're going to be in a LaFleur system. I think Love next year has the ability to possibly be a top 10 fantasy quarterback, depending on the way that things shake out. 100%. The way that he moves and the way he's able to run and get outside of the pocket, and with the weapons that I think LaFleur is finally going to maybe feel like he's not overridden by every single decision because he has to kowtow to the quarterback every single time.
I'm really looking forward to your Jordan Love pick in the 4th round in fantasy football this year.
Let's not forget the first person to take Patrick Mahomes in our draft, and everybody looked at me sideways when I did it that year. I still came in second because I come in second every single year. However,
always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Whatever they say, lucky in love, not lucky in life. I don't know. My mother-in-law has some saying that she goes by. Says something like that. So.
Speaking of never getting lucky in your life, the Raiders once again in the news. We signed Jimmy G. Yeah. Right? So we get Jimmy G signed to the Raiders. Very, very good contract.
Wait, did Jimmy G play with McDaniels? Was that a connection? I don't really remember. I haven't heard anything about it.
It could be. And then, so you're thinking about, okay, he's got Devontae Adams, he's got Darren Waller, and then what do the Raiders do? After all of the Raiders pages put out, look at all these weapons we have. We got a team, blah, 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 blah. They trade Darren Waller to the Giants for not a second-round pick, not a first-round pick, a third-round pick. A guy that is a physical specimen of the position. A third-round pick. I don't understand. Now, to me, right? I
do.
They have to be targeting someone in that third round, correct?
No. So in my opinion, what this is shedding salary cap. Waller is owed, I want to say roughly around $13 or $14 million a year going forward for the next few years. I think when you look at the way that Darren Waller played this year and even the end of last year, there was a significant fall off. I don't know why that was.
Well, it was Devontae Adams.
Okay, so then you're telling me that guy should open it up more for you on the outside. Right?
Well, not if he's throwing it to Devontae Adams all of the time.
Yeah, but I feel like Waller, I don't know. I think it was a separation issue. I don't know. Big shout out to Darren Waller. I don't know if you heard this story as well, too. So this was a kind of a juicy one. Darren Waller just got married 10 days ago to Kelsey Plum. Do you know who Kelsey Plum is?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's a point guard for the Las Vegas Aces. I don't know. I forget the WNBA team's name. I think it's the Aces. Very good player. She's got that viral picture of her smoking a cigar after they won the championship last year, sitting up on stage, drunk. Her and Darren Waller just got married. So they hadn't told anybody they were getting married. Josh McDaniels goes to the NFL Combine and says, oh, well, we haven't really talked to Darren. Darren's getting married here in a few days. And basically broke the news of him getting married to the national media when they hadn't even told their friends and family yet that they were doing that. So Darren Waller was pissed about that happening, in a sense, as he should have been, Wow. And anyway, so I guess it caused a rift there from what my sources are telling me. And then Kelsey Plum tweeted something out last night saying, yeah, of course the guy who definitely wasn't invited to the wedding would be the one to spill the beans on it.
I thought I saw something of that post as well. What was it say, like the day after the wedding or something like that?
I'm sorry?
I thought she said something like it was like the day after the wedding or something that they found out that he was going to get traded or something.
Oh, well, he just, like I said, he just got married 10 days ago and he just got traded to the Giants. Now, listen, he's going to New York. He's going to be fine. Taxes wise, I don't know about that, but we'll see what happens. I think it's an interesting move for the Giants. Listen, we talked about Daniel Jones doesn't have enough weapons. There's no way, you can't keep on giving Daniel Jones these guys to roll out there. Now, look, they went out, they got a guy in Darren Waller. I expect them to be active when it comes to the DeAndre Hopkins scenario as well, too, as he's on his way out of Arizona. So any teams looking for wide receiver help, there's a guy right there, Nuke, who can help you out immediately. If you got the cap space for it, go ahead and pay him. He's one of the best wide receivers in the entire NFL. We saw what he did last year, even with guys like Colt McCoy throwing the ball as well. He was still producing.
Who did you just say?
So, listen, I think it's a fun. I'm sorry?
Who did you just say?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, Hopkins.
Colt McCoy.
Yeah, I mean, Hopkins is still out there.
Yeah, he's going to be on the move. They're getting rid of him in Arizona. He's allowed to seek trade partners. I think it's very interesting, the Austin Eckler thing as well, too, that he's allowed to seek trade partners as well, too, from the Chargers. I guess contract talks have just kind of fallen out there. I always feel like he's the perfect fit for that system in terms of the way that he moves around in space and is able to make guys miss. And he's one of those sneaky guys who runs through the tackles and somehow gets through every time. And, of course, great hands catching the ball to the backfield as well. I feel like they just need to figure it out there in LA because I think losing Austin Eckler to that offense would be detrimental and definitely not be good for Justin Herbert whatsoever.
I think it's more of the point, like we're talking about, with the Ravens and, with the player empowerment that everybody so much wanted. These guys are demanding trades. And I remember it last year after a couple years ago when the NBA, and you had Durant and all these guys, teaming up, basically saying this is where we want to go, make it happen type deals, and this rippling throughout the sports community and all of the sports comments saying this is what it's about. Players having the empowerment to do such a thing, and it has trickled to the NFL to where people, and I think the NFL owners are like, we're not the NBA. You think you go for it? You think you can do better? Go for it. There's going to be someone else to replace you tomorrow. Because I think that talent level on the NFL is a little bit different than the NBA, where there's not too many Kevin Durant's, right? There's not too many LeBron Jameses, if any. But there's a few Austin Eckler's out there, and there's going to be a few Austin Eckler's in a draft. I think it's a little bit different scenario where these players are making demands, and the owners are in the front office will be like, man, whatever. If that's what you think, man, we don't want you to be unhappy, man. Go do what you got to do. Well, the front door will always be open for you, son, when you want to come back.
It's funny. I was talking to Paulie last night. I went out to backstage for a minute, saw the boys, our country club boys, who are about to come on here in a minute or two. And I was talking to Paulie, and I just said, hey, I know you're a big Ravens fan. What do you think about the whole Lamar thing? And we both got to a conclusion of we agree that it is collusion to a point, but we also agree that it's very tough on Lamar right now because of his skill set and because you have to tailor an offense around his skill set as well too. He is not a guy who should be a pocket passer or is a pocket passer. That takes away an element of his game that makes him so special. So when you're looking at that, you have to look for the right fit. You have to look at somebody who's going to be able to create that offense around them. Now with Greg Roman leaving, who is the genius behind that offense for so long, where are the landing spots that you have an offense that needs a quarterback that you're willing to blow everything up and tailor it around? It's also kind of a tough ask for teams as well.
To me, like we talked about, the Lamar Jackson thing to me is just dead. Like, RG3 continues to make comparisons about Daniel Jones' contract, about Jimmy G's contract, about everybody else's contract, and how Lamar is paid less than them. Well, here's the reality, RG3, is that some people, when they're under contract year and are better players, make less. Patrick Mahomes this year, I believe, is making less than Daniel Jones. Okay, you don't see anybody jumping on a step stool saying, no, that's not right, this, that, and the other. Look, it is what it is. And until RG3 and somebody from any one of these camps wants to show us what this money is, it's all complete speculation, and it's really getting fucking old, to be perfectly honest with you. They need to do something, whether it is, I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. You either sign him, release him, do something. Same thing with you, Lamar. Whatever it is, all we do out here is talk about whether he's disrespected, whether he's this, that, the other. But the bottom line is we don't know what the disrespect is because we don't know what you're asking for. Bottom line,
Just for clarification, Patrick Mahomes is making $45 million this year, and Daniel Jones is making 40.
Yeah. So again, but would you put their talent comparisons within $5 million of each other? Probably
but
not.
Let's be honest, right? Russell Wilson is making 48. Kyler Murray is making 46. So,
yeah.
And Deshaun Watson at 46 as well. They're all making more money than Patrick Mahomes this year.
Which he restructured his contract, Deshaun Watson, to clear up some cap room.
Of course he did, but he's not losing any money off of it. They're just front loading deals and signing bonuses for him. That's it.
So also, I don't know if you also saw. So your boy. Famous Jameis going back to the Saints.
Is he really? Why?
Yeah. He re-signed with the Saints. I think that there was no other market for him at that point.
You can't bring him in to compete with Kyle Trask because we know how that would end up.
Bro, I think that Tampa Bay would burn down if they brought Jameis Winston in to compete.
Our Bucks Twitter would definitely burn down.
The last thing I want to talk about before we bring the boys in for the golf is, I used to live in this wonderful city in the Midwest called St. Louis, Missouri. And when I lived there was a team there called the St. Louis Rams. And I remember attending many of these Rams games. And while I was also there running an establishment in downtown St. Louis.
Hooters.
AKA Hooters. That was me. The Rams left. And the Rams ownership stated about how he couldn't get the attendance. He couldn't do the numbers. He couldn't get this. He ended up, the city of St. Louis ended up suing him for they got billions back. I don't know what the final number was. And then they went to I don't know. And then they went to L.A. where their attendance is even worse. The attendance might be better, but it's not even a home field advantage if you ever look at anything in the stands. Well, the XFL went to St. Louis, and I will have to give a shout out to the people of St. Louis. The people of St. Louis sold out, or I don't know if it was sold out, over 40,000 people attended the XFL games over the last 2 weeks. 40,000 people from an NFL town that said that they can't support football. Now, as we talked about, this is something new. They've been on an NFL drought for quite a while, but 40,000 6,000 people when I believe across the rest of the average attendance is about 6,000 people. So kudos to the people of St. Louis. Enjoy your team. Enjoy everything that you get down there. Fuck that owner. You do you. Enjoy.
Yeah, good for you. Have you been watching any XFL?
I have not.
Because I know our next two guests do love them some XFL.
Do they?
Absolutely, they do.
Well, let's bring them in. Let's bring in Paul and Chad coming in for a little Gap Wedge Wednesday segment. We're going to do a little players recap and see what's on the docket. Little golf clap.
Paul, Chad, welcome in. How we doing today?
Good morning, boys.
Good
Doing
morning.
well, doing
Good
well.
to hear from you. Good to hear from you. I'm glad we're all in great spirits. It's a pleasure to have you guys on today.
Houston Rednecks, baby. Houston Rednecks.
Yeah, see, Chad, huge XFL guy. He said he throws these names out there, and I feel like they're fake sometimes on our group chat. I'm like, there's no way that's an actual XFL team. And then he names him the starting quarterback and says he should be benched. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You're right. I said Houston Rednecks. I meant Roughnecks. My bad.
Rednecks, Roughnecks. What are we talking
Same
about here?
shit, right?
That's a little bit north for the redneck. That's a little north of the line for redneck territory.
Well,
You're right.
That's always the Texas argument, right? What do you call them? You know, are they Roughnecks? Are they rednecks?
You don't really know. I mean, being from Austin, I'm legit. So
Texans. That's all. Just Texans.
They are Texans. Hey, Chad. You know, speaking of, what did you think about the way that the Players Championship broke down this week?
With the players, it was pretty much what I expected, except for Scotty Scheffler, because I said to fade him, but whatever. You don't always get him right.
Not only did you say to fade Scotty Scheffler, but I believe that you had an overwhelming favorite for the Players Championship. Did you not?
Well, we can go ahead and kick that to Paul because Paul did have an overwhelming favorite that he loved.
Oh, this was okay. My bad.
I remember
My bad.
Paul. I think he said something about sometimes in life you just take a flag and you stick it in the ground.
Yeah. No, I did say that. Justin Thomas, he gained 5.2 strokes tee to green and lost 4.9 on the greens. So anytime you can't putt, you can't win.
Drive for show, putt for dough.
Yeah, so I am.
You guys were still okay though in
to my
terms
story.
of the way that you finished up, right, Chad? How do you have any top 10s or top 20s that you hit on? I know there was a couple guys who we had mentioned last week who actually ended up hitting, and if you tailed, you probably made a little bit of money.
Yeah, I had. I don't know if you guys noticed. On Saturday, the guy that set the course record was Tom Hogue.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
He was +6 on Thursday. And he ended up with a top 3, which I guess that pays for top 5, top 10, and top 20. So those are some pretty good stakes there to take home.
We love that as well. Paul, who did you have? You had a couple guys that hit as well and came in, right?
Yeah, Sunjay Im ended up cashing the top 10. Bezaden got you a top 20 if you tailed that.
Sue, right? Sue as well?
Yes, I had
Justin Sue. Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty long shots as well, too, that you guys hit on that were really, really good as well.
Yeah, deeper guys.
Deeper guys, for sure. Well, Paul, you know, anything we want to say about the players just to put a bow on it? Any thoughts that we had?
No, I think anytime you get a guy, and I think Chad touched on it with the Scotty Scheffler prior to this event. His best finish at the Players was 55. But, you know, when you get a guy like this who could be generational talent, I mean, the last 13 months he's got could be a generational resume. But anytime a guy like that, he won it by 5. So you kind of have to throw the records out the window when a guy's got it like that.
Yeah, and I mean, you speaking of generational talent, the last guy to do something like this that I remember was also from the University of Texas. Just like to represent that. Just saying.
What's that, Jordan Spieth?
Yeah.
Oh, here we are.
Here we are, guys.
Yeah, here we are. Jordan Spieth. I knew he was going to work him in one way or another, bro.
Hey,
so, I mean, I guarantee you, I can tell you who Chad has in his bracket challenge.
Oh, yes. If we're talking basketball, you boys, you better know 3 straight Big 12. I'm going to go green, blue, and now we're going to go burnt orange this year.
We'll
Write
see.
it up.
I think I have Houston winning it all, but we can get to that here in a little bit as well.
Well-
So put a bow on the players. Listen, great job, Scotty Scheffler. He was lights out. He played absolutely fantastic.
He did.
You know, I mean, when you get a guy that's locked in like that, and just hitting the ball close, making easy putts, you know, not putting himself in crazy positions where he has to get up and down. And also, I felt like he was up there with a bunch of guys who weren't really used to being in that position as well, which might have helped out a little bit too.
True.
All right, well, moving on. This week we have Valspar, correct? We are over in Tampa. Paul, you want to go ahead and break down the course for us and kind of tell us what we're looking at this week?
Yeah, it's the Valspar Championship. Innisbrook Resort. We're playing the Copperhead course there. It is just a touch over 7,300 yards. It's a par 71. Greens are being running fast this week. We're on the stimp of 12. We're back to Arnold Palmer Invitational speeds. Going to be on Poa Trivials. It's a Bermuda base, and most of the guys who I have won here are Bermuda specialists. So,
Who are some of our past winners that we have?
you have Sam Burns is coming off back to back.
And Bermuda Burns is actually his nickname, I think.
Paul Casey has won it twice here.
Let's say, didn't they both go back to back?
Yep. And just before they won it is a guy I think we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So, Chad, I'll let you get to the stats, and then we will go from there.
All right. It's a pretty tight course. So one big thing is going to be fairways gained. You have to be able to hit the ball in the fairway because they actually extended the rough from 2.5 or 3 to like 3.5 to 4 inches now.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it a little bit tougher. Greens are smaller than regulation. So once again, as pretty much every Florida course is, hitting fairways and greens is going to be key. So you got to make sure you're doing that. And then I saw a stat that this is one of the courses that pretty much is dog legs every other hole. So you have to lay up. They're not going to let you go for it. So just about everybody's hitting the same approach shot from about 175 to 225 out. So you got to have long irons and hitting fairways.
Yeah, this course has a unique statistic. Also, it's got 5 par 3s. They all sit there from 195 to 235. So you want guys who are pretty good at the long par 3s.
Now I see why you were talking about James Hahn a little bit ago. I see that now.
This is not a course that's a lot of fun for us amateurs out there if we're going to go out there and play it, right?
Oh, didn't I hear that you
Well, we played the other one.
you play okay.
What is it, the Island course or whatever it's called? I think it's the Island course. It's the other one that's on property there that we played. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised there's a PGA Tour event there every year, but that's just me. But continue.
It's not often you get PGA players playing on resort courses, but when they do, they usually are about 25 under. So
yeah, I don't know. The way the setup was too. It wasn't, to me. It wasn't like PGA standards, like a Bay Hill. But you know, listen, I'm sure they play different courses all the time, everywhere. So
exactly.
Yeah, this one might get windy, and you're going to hear a ton about the Snake Pit. That's 3 finishing holes that are some of the most difficult on tour. They are not going to let you forget about those this week.
You talking about Azinger or?
Lord, stop.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
I love Paul Azinger.
Yeah, you would.
You are
the zinger.
I love Joe Buck too. Whatever.
Oh my
No,
Yep.
Lord.
All right.
That's enough to cancel the show.
Let's just talk
All
about
right.
golf.
It was good
All
fun while
right.
it lasted, boys. Thanks.
Here we go.
All right, Paul. You want to get into who you're backing today?
Yeah, so you got some guys. It's a little top heavy field. You got Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Tommy Fleetwood's there. Fitzpatrick's playing this week, and those guys are going to get a lot of attention on the broadcast. But I think if we jump down just a bit, Adam Hadwin, who won here 5 years ago, is a guy who finished top in my model, and I think he's got all the skills to do it again this year. So if I'm backing one guy, it is Adam Hadwin.
This is his type of course. I mean, obviously he won here, but was that his only win on the PGA? I think so far.
I think you might be right.
I mean, he played well last week.
Canadian boy.
Yeah, and for some reason, Canadians love Florida courses.
Yeah, it's that vacation mode situation.
Yeah, because what, he was 13th at Players this week or last week, and then last year he was 7th at Valspar, 9th at the Players. It's just, yeah, he 8th at Honda 2 years ago.
Yep,
he loves Florida.
His history is littered with top fives and tens.
20s.
Yep.
In Florida.
Plays okay in Florida.
Might be a trend there.
Agree. You got a guy up there, Chad, that you want to point out?
Like you were saying with the heavy field at the top, I really don't like any of those guys. Like, I feel like they're more playing just because they have to. Seems like you're going to be more interested in the
why do they have
match
to play?
Some of them are sponsor driven. Like, they have to play because of sponsorships like that. And like Sam Burns, I'm pretty sure he's only playing because he won last year.
Okay.
Because I know they were talking about him not playing this year, and he was like, "Oh no, I'll definitely come because I gotta try to make a three-peat." But I think those guys are more concentrated on the Dell match play next week because it's a what's it called that they're doing this year? The
Elevated event.
Elevated event, yeah.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Cool.
So
So who are some guys you're targeting this week, Chad?
I'm definitely on Hadwin with Paul.
Okay.
He loves this course. You can't get off it. I mean, at 28-1, it's still low, but I mean, I did that one time with JT Poston. I said he was 35-1. I'm like, oh, fuck that guy. There's no way JT Poston should be 35-1, and then he went out and won that tournament. So I'm not doing that again.
He did win. Don't miss it.
Yeah, and actually, JT Poston is actually a good play here too. So because that tournament I did that was the John Deere, which is a comp course here. So
what about a guy like just you're talking about guys who hit the ball straight, keep the ball in the fairway over and over again, like probably is also like gaining strokes around the green very important here as well. Obviously putting, you said them running a 12 is going to be very, very important. Any other things that we're looking at to add into our evaluation?
Yeah, strokes gained around the green is definitely important here because, like I said before, the greens are small. It's hard to hit them. A couple of guys I'm looking at that hit the ball straight, missed the green a few times, but is Taylor Moore. In my model, he's 11th in strokes gained around the green, but his proximity from 175 to 200, he's number one in this field.
Wow.
Another guy I'm looking at, I'm pretty sure he's going to be my FOMO for the rest of the year because I've been on him a couple times in Florida already. It's Justin Sue. I mean, he killed the Corn Ferry. That's how he got on PGA because I'm pretty sure he won the 3 times at the Corn Ferry, or he won at least twice to get on the PGA Tour. And this kid is lights out with his irons, especially from deep. I think he ranks second. Yeah, he's second in my model. In par 3s, 200 to 225, and there's 4 of those on this course. So
what was his name again?
Justin Sue.
Justin Sue.
Yeah, his
no relation to
Ndamukong.
Ndamukong.
Yeah, that guy.
All right, wonderful.
Right.
Paul, what do you think about this week? Who do you like? Obviously, we mentioned Hadwin. Is there anybody else who you like that kind of fits that model and that mold?
Yeah, a few guys that are a little deeper. Somebody who's going to be maybe a little more popular than he normally would be because he did have the ace on 17 this past week is Aaron Rye. He is a fairways and greens kind of guy. If he can get the putter going, he's going to be dangerous. He is 128th in our model in strokes gained putting on the types of greens we're playing this week, but sometimes guys hit it. JT loses 5 strokes. Maybe this guy can gain 1 and take it to the house. We have a gentleman named Steven Yeager. He also does all the things we like to do. So if you're looking for a deeper play, somebody maybe bet a top 10 or a top 20 and get a little value in your DraftKings lineups, that'd be a guy. Steven Yeager, and then Davis Riley. Finished in a playoff here, I believe it was last year, and he's a guy who I am, as Chad mentioned, the FOMO. I think Davis Riley, if he ends up cashing a check that's comically large, I'll feel terrible if I'm not on him.
God, what do you think?
To back that up, another guy that does a lot of things well here, he just needs to learn how to make some putts, is Will Gordon. He's a guy that I don't even know how he came to my mind when I was talking to Paul earlier. I just brought him out of nowhere, and he asked me, he's like, what's the love with Will Gordon? I'm like, I feel like I remember him being great on windy coastal courses, and it's supposed to be windy, and somehow he made our model at 17th, but he just can't putt. But like we've said the last couple weeks, these guys get the putters going, they're going to win.
Got to get hot at the right time.
Exactly.
Having putter issues though on a 12 stimp meters is not a recipe for success though, right?
It's definitely not, but I mean, the one thing that you can get hot at and for a weekend is your putter. Like,
I always loved putting on those types of greens, honestly, because the faster, as long as you get the ball on the line, you're golden. But if you miss the line, you are gone.
Exactly. But that's the thing is, like, these guys play these types of courses all the time. Like, sometimes we're playing Plinko, out there when they just overseed the green. So these guys are used to those courses, though. So
the legends over there in Claremont messing with my life the last week. Holy moly.
The one thing you can do on the PGA, though, is get hot with a putter. So we usually don't tend to look at putting stats as heavy as everyone else, but because we know that it's a mindset.
I'm going to throw you guys a little curveball right here, just because these are two guys that I for some reason always think about. Webb Simpson, right? Good iron player, good around the greens, usually hits the ball fairly straight. What is he's just having a bad year this year, or what's going on with him?
Yeah, he fell off last year. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he changed his swing or something like that, but he fell off the radar quick. Like, I mean, he used to just dominate Harbortown, Wyndham. I don't even think he made the cut last year at either one. So I don't know what's going on with that guy.
And then another question, because I know this is another guy who, like, sometimes at least a couple years ago we were always on, was Ches Reavie. Guy who just kind of hits the ball, matriculates the ball down the fairway, doesn't hit it very long, usually keeps it pretty straight. When his putter gets hot, he usually plays pretty well.
Ches is a guy who will just out of nowhere make a top 5. He's going to be, barely make the cut, top 40, top 30, and then the next thing you know, he is just Sunday taking up television time. To your point on Webb Simpson, he's a favorite of mine. A guy I like watching. Him and Paul Tesori have a great relationship. He just, in his last 50 rounds, the only thing he's doing a little better than the field average is his strokes gained approach. Everything else is pretty rough at the moment. So
no pun intended, right?
yeah. Tough guy to back at the moment. Love to see him come back. fun guy to watch. And Reeve, again, just not necessarily in the form we want to see.
If we're gonna put our hard-earned money on something.
Yeah, and that's the thing with him. Like you said,
he's actually, his form's worse than Webb's.
Heard. Okay.
Jeremy's
a guy like Reeve, like you said, is like David Lingmerth. Where the fuck did he come from? To get a top 10 at the Players. This guy is smaller than me. And he's out here just bombing it out there, and I'm sorry, wrong word. He's hitting it out there 250, and they're just hitting greens and making putts. It's like, Jesus.
Speaking of guys like you, Jeremy wants to know about a gentleman named William McGirt. He wants to know if there's any.
Would you like me to sign some autographs for him? Or I can do that.
Doppelganger.
For those who don't know, Chad has a doppelganger out there, and it is literally William McGirt. Tyson, if you just want to pull up that image for yourself, or just show the listeners what we are talking about right here. Just real quick, I just want to recap a few guys that we did hear you mention, and you can add on either of you after I go through this. Davis Riley, right, is a definite like. We love Adam Hadwin this week, as well as maybe an anchor for your DFS lineup or for some daily stuff, and even maybe an outright to win. You do have Justin Sue, Will Gordon, and then the Jaeger kid as well. Was there anybody else I was missing through there?
I kind of like either one of the Wu brothers. Brandon is the more popular one. He's sitting at number 2 at our model, and his brother's actually been outplaying him lately. So I would take either one of the Wu brothers. That's WU, not Wu like see Woom Kim.
WOO. WU. Gotcha.
Yeah, WU. Okay. Either one of the 2 brothers.
All right. There we have it. There we have it. Your Valspar preview from Country Club Chad and Paulie Parputz. So always a pleasure to have you boys on. Quick question before you guys get out of here.
Hold on. We're for those of you who don't know, this is exactly what Chad looks like. This is Country Club Chad's doppelganger, Tyson. Right here.
Tyson, it just happened.
Fitting image.
It just happened. Baker Mayfield to the fucking Bucks, dude.
Oh my God.
No,
I cannot wait to see you tonight.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, 1 year, $8.5 million.
No, it didn't.
It just happened.
No, it didn't.
I just got a text.
No, it didn't.
Last in NFC South.
No.
You talked to Steven.
Oh God, it happened.
What do you mean? All right, quick question. I don't want to get into that right now. We'll save that for Friday in my instant reaction and watch me melt down into a.
How can it be an instant reaction when you're already reacting right now?
I was about to say everyone sees it, Jeff.
We're so happy. We're gonna get to.
So, what do you guys think about the PGA Tour and this I guess proposition is what it is to change out the golf balls. Do you guys have any opinion on that? I'll start with Paul. Just your thoughts. I see Liv is trying to piggyback off this, saying that, you want to come to the fun tour where we hit bombs over here, and they're not going to be able to hit the ball over there, so on and so forth. Paul, what are your thoughts about them possibly changing the ball here?
I'm not a fan. I think there's a skill set that you're accentuating anytime you're allowed to try to hit the ball 400 yards. As much as I don't like him as a personality, Bryson DeChambeau showed us what a powerful tool it can be to be able to hit the ball near 400 yards. And when you start taking a skill, ball speed, club head speed, you take that away, rolling back, it's going to create such a gap between the pros and amateurs. It's a can of worms I can't even believe they're opening right now. So on record as not a fan of rolling back the ball.
Heard that. Chad, your thoughts?
I don't like it either. I mean, golf is a game of precision. I believe that, you have to be able to hit every shot to win, not just hit a driver and then chip it up for 30 yards, so I'm not a fan either. And DeChambeau can suck it.
Tyson, what do you think about them possibly changing the ball?
Well, I think it's dumb. I think it's exactly what we went through when Tiger Woods was winning everything and they tried to Tiger-proof courses. PGA, if there's any time to not fuck with the game right now, it's right now.
I don't think there's ever been more engagement.
Live has brought so many things to the light for you, has increased player purses. You've got more traction than ever. Why would you ever want to change the ball? Bro, this is just like a bunch of old dudes sitting in a corner being like, how do we change the game now?
I can't believe they hit pitching wedge into this green. They should be hitting a long iron. It's unbelievable.
Well, and that's the thing is, so you decrease the distance. Obviously, the most of it's going to be on your driver. But, I mean, these guys are hitting 5 irons 250 yards. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, what do you really think is going to happen here? If you want to start... If you want to...
187. Like,
exactly. If you want to get into regulations and stuff like that to soothe down that, you need to start talking about shaft regulations. That's where you need to get into, because that's where you're getting all the kick, the low end, where you're being able to hit a 9 iron 180 yards. That has nothing to do with the ball. The technology has continued to advance. It's just more stupid shit. But anyway, I digress. Boys, did you guys get your brackets in?
Yeah, burnt orange all the way, baby.
Burnt orange.
Well, we know who Chad's rolling with. Paul, who you got in the tournament?
Oh boy, in the tournament, I'll go Providence.
Paul hasn't filled out his bracket yet, obviously.
Oh
sorry?
Jesus, this guy, this homer.
You said Providence? Are they even in this tournament?
I don't know. I think they're an 11 seed.
Wait, is that your hometown?
I'm Providence adjacent. Yeah.
Like what? What's it? Oh, okay. You know, my wife's from there.
Warwick.
Yeah, she grew up in Rhode Island. She lived in Barrington for a while.
I'm right by the airport, man.
I'm gonna have to do a little research on you, make sure that you're on the up and up there.
Providence starts out with Kentucky.
Well, you only got
to stop the research now.
I'm about to say you only got to check like 5 people. The freaking state's so small.
It's
went
one
up there one time, and I think I've seen the whole thing.
That's what I said. All I gotta do is I gotta make sure I got your
Rhode Island
I
slander.
gotta make sure that I got your last name right, and that's really all I need. And I'm sure that it'll come out of the woodwork.
But make sure you're checking the right one, because the other one, he's a heathen.
Oh, okay. Oh, so there's 2 with the exact same name, huh? How convenient.
Yeah, for the brother.
Well, boys, thank you very much for the picks. We look forward to this every Wednesday with the Gap Wedge Wednesday with Chad and Paul. Thank you very much, boys.
Thank you.
See you next week, guys.
Paul,
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Paul, get your bracket in. It's free $500.
Yeah, what are we doing here? Providence draws Kentucky to start. So, anyway. Well, listen,
so
Baker Mayfield
so
to the
hold
Bucs.
on before we transition this debacle, because we are going to run long now, because we are an interactive sports show. When breaking news happens, we are here to capture it. So first of all, if you haven't done so, we put out the link on our Facebook and our Twitter. We are hosting our first annual March Madness bracket. Winner take all, $500 prize pool. Thank you to Live Life Media Group for sponsoring this wonderful event. So make sure that you guys fill out your brackets. The only requirement is that you're either following on Facebook or on Twitter. So make sure that you check those out. Get your bracket in. Get your chance to win $500. Cold, hard cash, because who couldn't use some cold, hard cash right now?
And thank you to Thomas Memorabilia as well for sponsoring for any of the needs that you have when it comes to anything, whether it be jerseys, footballs, helmets, cards, whatever you want. Make sure to go look up Thomas Memorabilia. They will get you set up right. I happen to know the guy who owns the place.
www.thomasmemorabilia.com. Shameless plug. So this is, we're definitely going to run long here, because this is the day that I've been talking shit about since the start of free agency. I went on numerous people on Facebook groups about this signing. I can't fucking believe this is happening. The Bucs signed Baker Mayfield. Now, if you've been watching the show, and even if you've just been watching the show today, Jeff has brought up the point about how he thinks that this is probably the most toxic situation for Kyle Trask. Here's my thing. Okay, and I'm going to say that this is what I think this proves by signing Baker Mayfield, is that they have no confidence in Kyle Trask, regardless of what they've been saying in the public. They have zero confidence in Kyle Trask. They're going to probably draft Hendon Hooker, and Baker Mayfield is going to have the starting job. Hendon Hooker will probably end up as the number 2 at the late of the year, and Kyle Trask is released by the end of the year. I don't know that for sure, but there's a saying in anything, business, sports, anything. When you know you don't have it, you cut your losses. You don't double down on it. You don't continue to write it out thinking it's going to get better. They didn't even let him dress all year long last year. For the first 2 years, he never hardly even dressed. When he got shots, it was with third string. I don't know what's going on. On the front page, everybody's like, Kyle Trask is progressing nicely. He's our guy. He's going to have every opportunity, and maybe he still will have an opportunity, but as far as I'm concerned, this just shows me, that the Bucks have zero confidence in Kyle Trask moving forward. And they're still in a win now mode, which I think is why they're restructuring all of these contracts. And to me, you bring in Baker Mayfield to be the starter of the Tampa Bay Bucks.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, bro. As a Bucks fan, if they just signed Baker Mayfield to 1 year, $8.5 million, and we can't afford $10 million a year for fucking Levante David, bro, I'm gonna be super fucking pissed.
I wish I could have canceled my tickets, dude. Those bastards locked me in, man.
Super fucking pissed. I'm gonna be, bro. We better re-sign Levante. We better re-sign Levante. That's all I gotta say. I hate the move. Hopefully they'll prove me wrong. We'll see. This is a situation where Todd Bowles has to put some kind of a record out there on paper, and has to win. Because if he doesn't, he's gone, and he doesn't have enough confidence in Kyle Trask himself to roll him out there.
But this is what I'm saying is like, so you have confidence in Baker Mayfield though, that's your guy.
Because of the few flashes they saw last year, maybe they think that actually giving Baker like legitimate weapons to throw to will be fine. But I mean, he had Jarvis Landry and OBJ. He had probably the most stacked Browns team offensively in their most recent histories and couldn't do shit. The guy can't even see over the offensive line. All right, and it's not a knock on him in any means, but I'm sorry, when you're a certain size and you have guys 6'7", 6'6" that are ahead of you that are blocking your vision, it's just, I don't know. I wish we could see. I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Bucks schedule. I'll be very, very curious when the schedule comes out with the actual dates. I will give you the leash that Kyle Trask potentially will be on, and that's the problem. Is that once again you've given this guy zero confidence. If he's not your guy, just get rid of him, bro. Just get rid of him. You get the fan base divided by drafting somebody from Florida State. First of all, you divide that up regardless because you think that that's your guy. Bruce Arians was there. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I want to go just cancel my tickets. I'm sad. I'm very sad. Well, you want to make ourselves even sadder? You want to go through your bracket?
I have Houston winning.
Fuck, me too.
I think half of the nation probably does. I mean,
I do have a couple upsets, right? I do have Drake beating Miami. I don't know why. I just felt like fading Miami. Go figure. I do have.
I have Kent
Charleston
State
beating.
I have Kent State beating Miami.
Who? Kent State beating Indiana.
Miami.
I have Charleston beating San Diego State and beating Virginia to go to the Sweet 16. And other than that, it is complete chalk.
I think this year is very interesting for March Madness because there is no clear cut number one team that just blows everyone out of the way. Obviously, we all know Houston has a ton of talent, and Mattress Mac, he already put a mill on him, so you can't go wrong with Mattress Mac. I do believe there's going to be a lot of upsets going on this year, and I'm looking forward to it. The NIT does start today. The Gators play at 4:00, and I do believe they play UCF, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, bro. I'm just so disheartened by this. Yeah, they do play UCF. I'm just.
So, my final four, real quick. I do have Alabama and Purdue, Houston and UCLA on the other side, with Houston and Alabama advancing, and then Houston winning the national championship.
I have Alabama, Tennessee, Houston, UCLA.
Yeah, we're close. We're really close.
I got Bama and Houston playing for it. But if you don't have it, guys, once again, make sure you get your. Do you really? Well, I'm not going to tell you my tiebreaker score.
What's your tiebreaker score?
Nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. Well, we try to end these shows, guys, on a high note, but honestly, I feel like I just got kicked in the nuts I I don't know. These are the days that a Philadelphia Eagles fan, what they would probably do. They go smack somebody around.
Listen, we are not promoting animal violence or domestic abuse.
Oh my god, dude!
At all.
What are the Bucks doing?
Bye, Zeke. What just happened? Zeke got cut.
Bro,
We should just stay off for a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna be on all day. Just gonna continue breaking news here. Who do you have? Adam Schefter?
Who,
The
me?
Buccaneers signed. Look at this. The NFL Network. The Buccaneers signed quarterback who will get his chance to compete for QB1. Fuck you.
I don't know.
Mayfield is now in line. Cowboys set to part ways. Yeah.
So now the Packers want 2 first-rounders for Rodgers. Oh God,
They
this
should-
league, man.
So Wednesday 4:00, bro. It's gonna be. We didn't even talk about the Eagles releasing Darius Slay. But that's another one. Oh, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I am just. I have no words. Look at this. Look at this picture, right? Look at this picture. Hold on.
I can't see it.
Look at this picture, guys. I'm gonna share my screen so you can see it, Jeffrey. But like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Get the fuck out of here with this guy. Get the fuck out of here. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Fangula. Like, come on. Come on. What the fuck are we doing?
I don't know, man. I don't have an answer. I really don't.
I have nothing, bro. I have nothing.
If we don't re-sign Levante David, Tyson Thomas is canceling his season tickets.
I already tried.
You hear that? Buccaneers, we don't care. They're on an Amex. We'll do a chargeback. All right?
I can't. Look at this fucking guy.
Amex doesn't ask questions. Let us charge it back.
Look at this guy, man. I don't know what's happening. What is my life? Thank God the Bears, huh? Woo! At least the
At
Bears.
least you have some kind of excitement.
Yeah, at least we have some kind of excitement.
All right, I'm done. Zeke gets cut. Darius Slay released. Baker Mayfield to the Bucks. What else could go happen today?
I don't know.
Long day ahead.
Maybe we'll go hit some golf balls and have breaking news all day long.
Let's go hit some golf balls. We'll just go live from the golf course.
I don't know. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great hump day. We will talk to you again on Friday.
Be great.
It is what it is.